So, welcome to Our Way Out. Thank you for the support, the love that you guys have been giving us. We appreciate it. It means a lot to us. With me today, I have Jeremy,
What's up, guys? Welcome back.
Tristan,
What up, everyone?
Jimmy,
Yo, yo, yo.
and Curls.
Hey.
And today's episode is really special to us because we have our first guest on our podcast. He's not just a guest, he's our friend, he's our boy, our brother, and our mentor, Scott Budnick.
Yeah,
One and
yeah.
only. One and only, baby.
Welcome, baby.
Special to me too.
Uh,
Even more special.
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
Hell
and
yeah.
we appreciate having you here. And for those that don't know you, can you describe yourself a little bit on what you do and how you got involved with advocacy work?
Well, I think like the day I got into advocacy work was the day I met you, bro. It was I was doing a movie called Old School. I was working with Todd Phillips, and a friend of mine on the movie asked me to come down to Juvenile Hall and speak to a bunch of kids in a creative writing program called Inside Out Writers. And I went on a Saturday morning down to the San Fernando Valley, and like when I walked in, the first visual I saw was like going like to the unit, and I saw like a kid that looked like he was 9 years old, like in handcuffs and shackles, and I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy. And I walked to this place called the Compound, which is like a prison within the prison, and they're like, oh, this is where we keep the kids who committed like very violent crimes and are being tried as adults. And so I walk through this fence and they lock it behind me, and I walk into this building and they lock it behind me, and I walk down the hallway and there's like a table in the hallway, and this is where they hold the creative writing class. And I walk in and a bunch of kids come in, like 14, 15, 16 years old. And the kid sitting next to me, I'm like, how was your week? And he said, it was a really bad week. I just got sentenced to 300 years to life in prison.
Man.
Yeah, that's not a normal like response. Or I'm like, looking at this little kid who has like a little mohawk on his head. He's 15 years old. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I stood next to my homie who shot the victim in the butt. The victim was in and out of the hospital in a day. And for standing next to the guy with the gun, I got 300 years to life in prison. And like, I'm looking at this kid and I'm like, holy shit. Like if this was my kid, like with my skin color and my money, like he'd be out on bail. He wouldn't be sitting there. He'd be sleeping in his own bed. And he would have the best lawyer in LA, and he would probably get probation. But this kid right here is not my son, and he's going to prison for 300 years to life. And that just like, I found that was just like fundamentally like very fucked up. And as we went around the table, like every single person's story was just like everyone was a victim before they ever became a victimizer. It was that like saying hurt people, right?
Mhm.
So it's like stories of like no fathers and foster care and no parents whatsoever and not feeling loved and domestic violence and seeing murder at a young age and losing people at a young age. And it's like, wow, like these fucking kids have been through it. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
We keep it real.
and I just told those kids on that day, like I want to start coming in here on Saturday mornings and teach this class. Like, are you down for it? Like, if you guys are willing to change, like I'm willing. I'm not going to waste my time, but if you guys are serious, I'm serious. And so I started coming there on Saturdays, and it was like I think in the first month, David, is when I met you. And I just remember like you were unbelievably charismatic, you were unbelievably respectful, and you were always high. And it was like 14-year-old David, like behind a cell door. And I just remember like you always, like even to this day, like I still come into that place every Saturday. I was there last Saturday, I'll be there this Saturday, 21 years later. And it's like you still, even to this day, I have the kids that stick out to me. And it's the ones that are like respectful and like know how to speak and like are passionate and compassionate, and like even though they're in there for being gang members and committing serious crimes, you can tell they're like on this like journey, this just trying to become better, trying to grow, trying to evolve out of this person, that the persona that they are right now. And like you were always very memorable, which is why I followed you like your whole way through the prison system.
Yeah, you've been my friend. We met in 2005, and you've been part of my life ever since. I remember going to the Inside Out writers class, and the reason why I would go was because they used to hook it up with these like king size candies.
Food, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, that's what I learned real quick is like you're competing against like kids staying in the day room to watch TV and play video games. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to get them to come to a writing class and go away from a movie or a TV show or whatever it is, like I better have something to lure them away. So like donuts was my thing, right?
Some
So
sort of incentive for sure.
Yeah.
That would
So
get,
I would bring donuts and music.
Yeah,
Right. And we'd
yeah.
like, I'd print out lyrics and stuff. And like, that was my thing.
Yeah, I remember
I
specifically one
remember
class.
getting those lyrics.
Yeah, or we would listen to like a Tupac song, and you guys would be like, "All right, write your thoughts on how you relate to the lyrics and the struggles." And I remember writing about that. But yeah, that was one of my reasons why I used to go to the class, because I used to be high and I used to have the munchies. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go get me a king size Reese's, But it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I met you and I met Inside Out writers staff, and we've been friends ever since. I'm turning 35 this year. I met Scott when I was 14. And
20
man,
years.
that's a long friendship, man.
Bro, that's 21 years, bro.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's almost as old as me.
So you
26. That's only 5
you
years.
see, yeah, that's wild. That's
That was 5 years.
wild. Oh my gosh, that's wild. So like,
David could beat your daddy.
Hey,
Oh!
hey,
I like that.
Hey, yo, hey.
I like the sound of
that.
but yeah, it must be a trip for you to see, like, you met all of us when we were kids, and to see us in a facility, in a prison, in juvenile hall, wherever it was. You've always been there. But how does it feel to you to see your boys come home, be with their families, and gradually start like working on their careers and their lives, and having all this
Everything.
success?
And we did it, and we came together. Like you met all of us in different areas, and we
Yeah.
all ended up together and formed like a brotherhood, and we're all working together to better
We're all
ourselves.
connected
So-
because of you.
So how is that for you? Like seeing that, like
Yeah, I mean, it like, I don't know, moves me to tears. Like it's
Yeah.
the most amazing thing to see. And it's the only reason like this, like doing this work outside of making movies is like, it's very tough, right? Like you're dealing with people who are struggling with addiction. You get calls that people you love died, overdosed or got killed. So it's like, if there wasn't these unbelievable stories of just like inspiration and success, and thank God there's so much more of them, right?
Yeah.
Than the tragedies, it'd be really tough to do because it's not easy work. Like kind of being there in brotherhood with like people who are very broken and trying to put themselves back together, and just being that big brother or father figure, like it's tough. And it's like each one of you. So it's like David, like knowing you were sent to prison at 14 years old, to adult prison for like 14 years or whatever it was. And like seeing you go to Pelican Bay, the worst, most notorious level 4 prison in California, and then seeing you at Calipatria, and then seeing you get into the college program at Ironwood, and seeing you come out and working on Just Mercy together. Right.
Yeah.
I produced
Yeah,
a
we should
movie.
say, yeah.
I produced a
That's dope.
movie, and you worked for the director, right? And then went with him to shoot a movie in Australia. Like our like decades together is pretty. The whole thing is
Yeah.
pretty unbelievable, right?
Been
And
a
like
blessing.
then I think back about Jeremy and Juvenile Hall, and while David's thing was like David's vice was like being high all the time, Jeremy just wanted to fight everybody. And like Jeremy, I remember when you went to Drake for being a violent gang member. And then I remember catching up with you like a decade or more later at SAT-F, when you were just like this calm, little peaceful, like kind, changed, like young man. And then you're out here and you're doing it, and you're here and working with these guys on Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal. And like, it's just unbelievable to see. It's beautiful to see. Because like that's going from like really like a fucked up youngster, right? With all, like so much anger to this guy today. It's pretty unbelievable. And like this guy Tristan right here, I met him. He wasn't even an LA guy. I met him when he was an incarcerated firefighter at my favorite place, Pine Grove. And him and his sidekick Jordan, his little black sidekick, would come up to me and they're like, "We want to come to LA and be in the movie business." And these dudes were from like the Central Valley, like the farm country of California. And I'm like, "Are you sure you want to come to the big city and like get into the film business?" And like, yeah. I'm like, "Why don't you want to be a firefighter? You sure you want to leave Tulare or Fresno and come here?" And they're like, "Yeah, we do." And like everything you said you were going to do in fire camps, you came here and you did. Like I was able to help you get housing through ARC at Magnolia, and then you went through Magnolia, and then what got into the ranch and then got into Prices Right, Let's Make a Deal, and then took all your classes seriously through Hollywood CPR and got into the union, and now just like doing it, man. Like wife and kids, like raising a newborn. Like it's unbelievable to see. It's like like and it's just like meeting all of you guys in different years and seeing that you guys are all together doing this. And you're 3 of like a dozen, right?
3 different generations. Like.
Different generations.
And there's 8 other guys that could sit on this couch with us that are working with you guys on Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal that I've known from other generations, right? So yeah, the whole thing is like it's unbelievable. But it like what's the purpose of life, man? If like there's nothing that could like I could go on a date tonight with the most beautiful girl. Maybe I'll do that. I could like what's more fulfilling than this, right? Nothing. There'll be nothing that's more fulfilling than this.
So I like to touch up on that. I think growing up, I had the wrong people, the wrong leaders, right? That said they were leaders, but they were guiding me to all the bad things, right? All I knew was the bad and negativity. It took me a while for me to like rewire that and like seek for more, like seek for something more than just what was in my neighborhood, what I knew. And if it wasn't for you that came into my life and actually, showed me that there's more to life than just what I knew, that I could constantly just keep growing, and just to better myself constantly. Like, you gave me that belief that I could do it, and I could, just be a better person. I had no one there for me since I was a little kid. When I was lost in juvenile hall, like I was angry. I just wanted to fight. My reaction towards everything was fighting. Right. Like I couldn't have a regular conversation with anyone because I could just feel like I didn't want to interact with anyone. I just wanted to fight and be on my own. But I learned to like overcome all that, during in YA. I took a lot of like self-help. I went to prison. I took a lot of self-help groups. And that helped me. That helped me a lot to realize like I'm deserving of a second chance, and I could come out and actually do something with my life. And yeah, like that's how my transformation started.
And now you're giving back to your community, and you're going back into the halls. And
Jeremy, it really like I think last week you and I were in Sacramento together, right? And like you were going around advocating on this film tax credit. And like just seeing you in the Capitol, meeting with like senators and assembly folks, like talking about how to keep production in California and like being there for all your fellow union members that were working. Like it just made me keep flashing back to Silmar and Corcoran and all of these things. And like, man, bro, like this is like, what a crazy journey, bro. Like that's a crazy journey that like you went from like the most powerless position facing a life sentence in juvenile hall at the hands of judges and people in these systems. And now you're in the Capitol talking to the people that make the laws. Like that's wild. Are you crying, buddy?
I mean, I get so emotional because the whole time I was there, I was like, I'm in the place where they made laws that kept us in here,
Yeah.
And because you and other people came together to pass
a lot of
SB
laws.
260 and all these laws that gave us second chances, like, I came home. So to be able to be there and be near you and just advocate for our community, for the economy of LA, for Hollywood, right? Like, for my career, like, like wow, like like that fight was like something I was like really proud of. Like I'm fighting for something that's real now, you know,
Meaningful, yeah.
like man,
And
thank you for that, Scotty.
yeah, thank you, Scotty, man. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think any of us will know each other if it wasn't for, your work and,
All the opportunities you presented for all of us, I don't think none of us would be
exactly.
here at all.
And I'll say this, man. Scott would pick up all my calls when I used to call from prison. He would send me postcards to just like remind me that there's someone there to care from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I appreciate. And then not only that, you would come to visit us wherever we were, and on top of that, you would try to make that environment that we were in a successful one with school, with work, and just like focusing on your life once you come home. And once we did come home, you were there, first one there. Like, all right, game time to go to school, this, and that. Make sure you're there early. So, man, that has inspired us to push for greatness, and
Can I ask you a
also,
question?
yeah.
Like you asked me, how does it feel for me to see you guys all doing this? It's like when you think back on 14-year-old David Campos or Jeremy or Tristan, like sitting in that jail cell, and you're sitting here on this couch today, right? Like, what do you think about when you think about like those days and like this journey you've been on? Like, what is it like for you?
To me, it's still unbelievable. It's like I'm living in a dream because I fantasized about freedom and the outside world for so long that now that I'm in it and I'm living my life and I'm meeting my brothers and sisters too. It's amazing to me because man, we were in the dumps, we were in the lowest of the lows. And if you would have told me then, like, hey man, one day you're gonna come home, you're gonna work on a Marvel film, you're gonna end up in Australia. And by the way, I would have not made it to Australia if it wasn't for Scott's help. He made it happen for me, along with others as well. But I would have been like, man, get out of here. That's bro, you're just hyping me up. But I'm living it, and man, I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for that support, the love, because I was my mind was completely somewhere else at that time. But now, it's made all the difference. Those postcards, you being present, and not just you, but my family as well. That has given me the motivation to do better. Like, man, not only do I owe it to myself, but I owe it to the people that believed in me. You know what I mean? Like Scott, my family, friends, and that's made all the difference in my life.
What about Jeremy and Tristan? When you think
Um,
about those days and you think about where you're at now.
I would have never thought I was here. I did dream big, you know. Most of my life back there, I dreamed because I looked on the TV. I watched TV. I watched all these game shows during the day, you know, all these, and I used to just dream and fantasize about this. And I remember a lot of the times I'll like manifest, like man, like one day I would like to work in the film industry, right? And but I was lost. Like I knew like maybe I was just a dream and I was just gonna die in prison because I was so committed to that lifestyle. And one night, like at 1 in the morning, I don't know if you guys ever remember on PBS, there was a show called Independent License that used to come on,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they didn't show the monster show, but they were talking the behind the scenes when you guys were coming in, and Jared and all the guys were in there, and they were talking, and I was 2 years already into prison when that came on, and I was like, no hope, nothing. I still had like 8 or 9 years left to go, and I was just like, this is my life. But when that show came on, and I saw how you guys were fighting for us for second chances, because at that time, like I felt like there was like it was it. My life was prison. I don't deserve a second chance. I don't deserve to get on someone to give me a job or anything like that, right? And when I saw that, it made me believe like, shit, I am deserving of a second chance.
Mm.
The things that I went through as a kid, like that wasn't my fault. I was just put in that position. So now where I'm at in this position, and I look at that person and I talk to that person. I talk to a 14, 12-year-old me, and I tell him like, you should be proud of yourself. You went through so much. Pat yourself more in the back. Be more in the present. Keep moving forward. The opportunities are immense now, and it's all because, I watched that independent list and I believed in that I was deserving of a second chance, and then I remember all the people that were trying to be there for me. And I always pushed them away because I felt like I was deserving of love. I wasn't deserving of all these great things. And now, I talk to myself and I tell them like, you're deserving and there's so much more. And you're here for a purpose. You went through all that for a reason. And I just want to be able to do what you did for us and do it for others, and that's my purpose. I love being around all you guys. You guys constantly push me forward. I have so many relatable brothers that I could just sit with and talk to, and they hear me out and they understand me.
Do you like being around us even when you're losing in poker?
Yeah, of course. I got a limit, so I'm not gonna go crazy like some of the guys. Yeah. But if I lose $120, it's like, all right, it's all right. It wasn't meant to be. Yeah. There's times when you win. Life is like that too. Sometimes you win, you lose. Like you just gotta accept both.
You're gonna win Sunday.
I hope so. I hope so. I don't like to brag, but I'm just gonna say I hope so. I pray so. Tristan,
for me, man, it's unbelievable. I still can't believe it sometimes. I went from going in at 16, direct file as a juvenile, like facing life. I didn't think I was getting out. So then Prop 57 passed, a law passed, and come to find out later on, you were a huge advocate for that, of getting that passed. So then I had hope. So I went for like 2 years with no hope, nothing. And after that law passed, I knew I was getting out. So from there, I just worked on bettering myself and working my way from YA to fire camp. After fire camp, meeting you and getting out and just wanted to better myself. And now with kids, a family, wife, like I can't believe it. I'm really just blessed and just thankful for all the opportunities. You, ARC, Amity, Hollywood CPR, that just all the people and groups that have had an impact on me and helping me. It's just, I can't be thankful enough, and I'm just truly blessed with it.
You are blessed and highly favored, Tristan.
Yeah.
I will say, one of the things that's a trip for me is I remember, Scott, you would come in and you would like bring your laptop and always show us like these pictures of these dope spots you would go to, whether it was like a Navy ship or anywhere. You would go on these vacations and you would come back and you'll share like these beautiful images. To come home and then experience, those dope moments, because we've gone to like the Dominican Republic together, Mexico. Some of the dopest experiences in my life have started with Scott.
Dude, so put it on that. The first day, me and my roommate or my boy Jordan moved out here, you took us in old Magnolia House to the Ryan Garcia fight.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I did?
Yeah.
The Staples Center?
Staples Center. Yeah. That was my first day out here. My first day moving to LA. All of us in Magnolia, thanks to you, went to the Ryan Garcia fight. Watched him win. My first day. I never been to a boxing match. I never been to, I think I have been to like a baseball or a basketball game, but like a boxing match, like crypto arena, like first day, I'm like, LA life not bad,
That's badass.
It was dope.
By the way, it's all going to work out when that's your first day. You're like, okay, this is going to be okay.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to be all right,
Yeah.
And I also like, I think one of the trips that I always look forward to is the river trip.
River trip.
By the way, to this day, this guy, we got to lock him in. He's never been.
What?
I've
never been to the river trip?
I haven't, because I'm always working at the time.
He doesn't.
We gotta go next year, bro. Come on,
Jeremy. He doesn't.
When I get better,
he doesn't prioritize our friendship.
When is it? July?
You gotta prioritize that.
Is it in July?
Yes.
Yeah, but next year, when I get better,
we have.
Oh yeah,
July will probably be it because we have some free time. So I'm gonna try to make this July.
You gotta make it, bro.
But I kind of want to wait for Jeremy, so I might just go next year.
No, Jeremy's going this year. He's going to be on the cripple person's boat.
Oh yeah,
you're going to be on the no war boat.
Yeah.
All right, but you guys gotta protect me.
Hey, look,
I'm a cripple.
I've seen some of those river rafting videos, man, and
Dude, it's a blast, bro.
It's not
He's
no
scared?
cake. It's not. I'm
Oh,
just saying
no.
they look crazy, like life threatening crazy.
Dude, that's another thing.
They're not, though.
You're in the gym every day, homie. What you
Come
worried
on,
about?
I'm not in the water every day.
By the way, you're in the gym and you're in church every week. You're gonna be
You'll
fine.
be all right. God got you. Let God take the paddle. Let him
Bro,
take the wheel.
you're blessed and highly favored. You'll be just
For
fine.
sure.
Write that
Doesn't mean I
down.
don't feel. That
Nah,
doesn't mean I don't
bro.
feel.
That rafting trip, I did the 3-day one
Mhm.
when I first moved out here to LA too, and that thing by day 2, your body is just like exhausted, bro.
Yeah,
like you just
for sure.
I was ready to go home.
What
It was a blast though.
What was your favorite
Bro,
thing?
you sound like a bitch right now.
What was your favorite thing about river rafting?
I like
So
the
river
disconnect.
rafting is obviously the rapids and stuff are fun. The wrestling on the boats are fun, but honestly, like just getting together with everyone, like when we met up at once, but you know how we stopped at night
At camp,
at camp. So we had a night where everybody, like 60, 100 people, however many people were there, got in a circle. Everyone went around, introduced themselves, talked if they wanted to, said like I'm this, introduced themselves and said who they are and what they do, and it's just great. And you meet so many people that all come from the
A
same
lot of people open
same
up.
background. Some people some people you don't.
And
it's
you-
like a network. You meet people. Like
And you
it's
have
just-
no phone service over
no
there.
phone service. And
I love that.
Nope. Gotta
your
connect
phone
with people.
dies. Like it's just cool to connect. Like just disconnect from all this
And
media, internet, and stuff, and just
this might be too much information, but where do you guys use the restroom and all that? Like if there's urine in the
Oh,
wall.
you don't know about Oscar?
No, no.
So-
yeah, we do.
So this is, some people think this is the worst part of the trip. I actually think it's the best part of the trip. So there is a steel case that they put a toilet seat on, and they give you some toilet paper and some hand sanitizer, and they put it way down the way along the river. So when you have to go number 2, you walk along the river to where no one's at. You sit on the toilet seat and you poop into a can. But as long as you're not inhaling, you're seeing this beautiful river cruise by you.
Free as shit.
While
ever
you're-
take.
That sounds lovely.
It's amazing. By the
Yeah.
way, you've never seen a bathroom with this view ever in your life.
That's
Just
true.
don't inhale.
Yeah. Wow.
I have footage of
Is
that.
is there like bear country out there?
No bears, no bears,
Oh,
no
awesome.
bears. Like they say there's rattlesnakes. I haven't seen one of those yet, knock on wood.
Mhm.
But like, nah, it's cool. And then like my favorite part is the old timers that were in prison for like 30 years, like Rudy and and Josh Pinedo. They make coffee at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so like
Way too early.
yeah, 4:15, 4:30, we're like every star in the sky is out. We're like sipping coffee, talking a lot of shit, just like hanging out. Sun comes up over the river. It's just beautiful. Then the lazy people like Jeremy start waking up, coming down at like 6, 7, 8.
You gotta give my
Yeah.
beauty rest.
Yeah. And
That's
like
cool.
also like when you go to sleep at night, like you're sleeping on a tarp on the sand. So like you're sleeping and you're just like looking up at all the stars and you see every star in the sky and you just like you're so tired you just knock out. But,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's
Wow.
amazing.
And my other favorite part is throwing Scott off the boat. That's
Never happened.
Oh,
What do you mean, throwing
I don't
Scott
think
off
I've
the
ever
boat?
seen it
So
happen.
big part of those rafting trips are.
Oh, there's it. Juan with the sound effects.
So big part of the rafting trips is there's like 6 boats or whatever, 6 person per boat, and each boat has a guide. It's honestly boat versus boat. Like your boat tries
Pirates.
to jump onto the other boat, throw everyone off, into the water. It's all, we all got life jackets on. It's safe and stuff, but it's fun. It's a blast, bro. That's honestly what tires me out more than the rafting itself is
It's the constant
fighting
back-
and getting
That makes
thrown.
it
That
fun.
water is ice cold, bro. That water is,
Yeah.
and there's a current. You got to fight the current.
And just
and-
like the middle of the summer,
bro. But Scott always has the biggest motherfuckers on his boat, but
He does.
What?
Josh
He has a wall.
Benito.
he has Angel. He got all the big dudes.
Yeah,
on
Angel
there.
big as hell too.
But the funnest part is when Sam, because with
forget
Scott,
about
it's
Buddha.
a 3-day. It's a 3-day trip. So we leave earlier, and another, people meet us later. But we attack them when they rendezvous with us. We
Yeah.
have a whole ambush.
We have an
set.
armada. All 6 of our boats attack their
Yeah.
boats. We throw all those motherfuckers into the
With
river.
their boats,
and there's 6
the guides and
Crazy. That
Yeah.
sounds
bro,
like a lot of
it's a
fun.
blast, bro. You have if you haven't
have to come,
experienced
bro.
it, you have to do it.
I'm
bro.
definitely
Yeah, by the
going
way,
this
if you
year.
don't, you're dead to me.
Oh,
Oh, I'm gonna come.
David, I'm
I
going
think
with
July
you.
we have
going
some
with
free
you, brother.
time off. But earlier, you mentioned that you guys went to Sacramento to lobby for. We all work in the film industry, and we've all been impacted by work in California. It's hard to find work right now. There's not that many
Yeah.
things shooting or any projects. And you guys went up to Sacramento to lobby and speak for the film industry and try to get tax incentives. How was that like? How did that go?
Well, I mean, when I started working in this business, like almost all of the production, like the majority of the production was in California. But over the last decade, all these different states have created tax incentives for people to come film in their area. And then if you film in, let's say, Georgia, they give you 30% back of your budget of what you spent there, because they're excited that you're creating all these jobs and buying all their wood and staying in all their hotels and everything else. They give you 30% back. So a lot of people flock to Atlanta to shoot, and to New Jersey, and to New York, to New Mexico, because they offered all these credits, to Canada, to London. So you saw a lot over the last, especially since COVID, you've seen a lot of productions leave Los Angeles to go shoot in these other places. And it's created a lot of people who've worked in this business forever, like not being able to find work, right? Because work is so slim right now. And California's had its own film incentive, but it's only been $330 million, where New York's is at $700 million and Georgia's unlimited. So it's been stuck at $330 million for 10 years. And so the governor, I was able to have a lot of conversations with the governor, and I think I'm partially, not entirely, but partially to blame for the governor now putting $750 million in the state budget to double or more the California film tax incentive. And I think the work that's being done in Sacramento around it is pretty unbelievable. And we've had union workers and people from Hollywood CPR coming up there and meeting with legislators and having an amazing experience. Jeremy was up there with me the other day, and he was able to meet with a lot of senators and assembly folks and really convince them why this is necessary for the state, and why, because a lot of them are very dubious. They're like, why do we need to give like the biggest tech companies like Netflix and Apple and Amazon, like, why do we have to give them money to shoot here? And we really let them know this is about workers, right? This is about 400, 600, 800, 1,000 workers in every production that you keep in California. And if you don't have that show shooting in California, those 1,000 people are being hired somewhere else. And so we'll know where this all lands in June or July. But I think because of the work of Jeremy and all the other folks at Hollywood CPR and Local 80 grips and Local 44 set dressers, Local 728 lighting technicians, Local 600 camera operators, I think laborers, LIUNA 724. I think all these unions coming together and these workers coming together to demand that production stays here. I think we're in a good place.
And what is something that we can do to help this movement? How can we get involved? Is there, if there's any opportunity to get involved and make a difference?
I think just like when you're off work, coming up to Sacramento and going and talking to people, like putting a face to it. Like, to me, like whether we're talking about like laws to change the criminal justice system or film tax credits, it's about them seeing faces and meeting people and shaking hands and having relationships and seeing that it's human, right? So I think it's always just about showing up and making relationships. That's kind of the key to life.
Yeah.
You did also had the first time bringing incarcerated firefighters into that building too, as well, right?
That was like the voice of God.
That's
JIMI right there.
By the way, like that voice sounded so sexy.
Oh, it's just me, guys.
So deep.
You should hear when he sings.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
Ooh. Yeah, it was amazing, right? For the first time, I think, in the history of the state capitol that was built in 1860, last week, they invited currently incarcerated people to be on the floor of the Senate and the Assembly, and in the governor's office.
Which camp was it?
Pine Grove.
Well,
Your camp, buddy.
Bro. I was like, I seen it. I was like, damn. I was like, that's crazy.
Bro. It was Pine Grove, 18 to 25-year-olds that were down fighting the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. And they were awarded and presented with an award on the floor of the Senate and the floor of the Assembly, and then honored up in the governor's office. And so I think it's the first time, I know it's the first time any incarcerated person was on the floor of the legislature. And it was
that's powerful.
It was beautiful, right? It was beautiful for everyone involved.
Yeah, what was the vibe like in there? Did they get like a standing O?
They were the heroes, man. It's like those guys were there and they went their whole life, people telling them they were no good and they're pieces of shit and they're criminals, etc. And then they go to fire camp, just like you, Tristan, and they become first responders and they save people's homes and they save people's lives. And community members come up to them and say, "You're heroes," and they bake them cookies and they bake their brownies, and their kids want to take pictures with them in their fire trucks. And
dude, I loved that place when I was there.
And so when they came to the Capitol, it's like it didn't matter Democrat, Republican. It's like those folks were coming, showing so much love to them, and it felt so good for them. They all said they didn't even feel like they were incarcerated that day. They're like, we feel free. We don't even remember we're incarcerated right now.
That's a trip, man. It's amazing to see how much love they got during that time. Because I'm sure, you sometimes you may go a whole lifetime without experiencing that type of love. And then you find yourself in this situation, which is not the greatest because you're incarcerated. But yeah, in this situation, you find all this love and you find purpose, in a spot where you least expect it. So it's always inspiring to see.
Yeah, I love that too.
Those stories and those guys. We met them and they were great. We cooked for them, and I think and pray for them all the time. And
they were working like 24 hours straight, like nonstop.
Yeah.
When we seen them, they looked all whooped and tired, and.
Yeah,
you guys made the greatest like spaghetti chili or something. Yeah,
Jersey.
Was so good,
man. I could go for some of that right now. So yeah, Jersey. But Scott, is there?
It's the chili that gets the applause.
Yeah, it's really good chili.
None of these beautiful, inspiring things. Jeremy crying didn't even get the applause, but the chili did.
Come on, Juan. So, Scott, we just want to close it off with any encouraging words for like upcoming filmmakers during these uncertain times, or just anyone that may see this podcast and just looking for some inspiration. Is there?
No, I think we're in a really special time for this business. I feel like once this goes through in June or July, I think production is going to double or triple in LA and in California. I think it's going to go crazy. I think we're a very open business, right? We don't care about what your history is. Like I tell you guys, when you're young, if you show up early, if you work hard, if you have a good attitude, and if you're dependable and responsible, you're always going to get that call. So I think anyone watching this who wants to come into this business, like now's the time. Let's go. You can go through the Hollywood CPR program or go through Manifest Works or any of these other pathways into the movie business. But yeah, it's great, man. And it's just awesome being here to sit with you guys and to see your faces and to see you guys together. And I love you all.
I love you too.
I love you. Great having you, Scott, for real.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for
one question for Scott.
What an honor.
Oh, we have a question, Scott.
One more question.
And Scott, for me, knowing that I've been knowing you.
Is that Juan?
That is Juan. Being that I know you since I was a kid.
Yes.
My question to you is, how do you feel now that I get to produce a podcast that you are welcomed on and honored on?
Well, you having been a very crazy vato in the juvenile hall, and now it's like I'm working for you, right? You're the producer, you're the big homie, producing this podcast, and I am your guest on this podcast. So since you're the boss, since you're the producer, do you have any notes? Is there anything I could have done better?
Could have brought us all Starbucks.
Yeah, good point. I apologize. I'll buy you a steak dinner. That'll be better.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Since you were our first guest.
I don't get a horn for that. I'll buy you a steak dinner.
Come on now.
I'm sorry about that. He's a little slow.
We're going to talk about this after, Scott. We're gonna talk about
serious meeting.
We'll work on it, Scott. We're going to work on that one.
Thank you so much, Scott, for being our first guest, for making time for us, man. We love you. Looking forward to making more memories with you.
Always, all the time. Love you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank
Love
you
you
for
too.
being
Love
here.
you guys.
Love you, bro.
Love you, bro. For real, that
And
shit means a lot.
I just want to give a shout out to Scott and just tell you thank you for bringing my brothers here to in my life, because it was because of you. It started with you bringing them out from the darkest places, and thank you for being the angel, the shining light you have here, and keep doing the hard work you do, because it's even touching people's heart like me, who get to know these beautiful souls and just get encouraged to do even better as a person. It doesn't matter where I come from, if I'm not the same background, but you got your cause, everything you're doing has been inspiration to all these brothers and also to people like me. So thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that, bro. You have a beautiful voice, man. You should do voiceover.
Thank
You do a
you.
voiceover. Shout out to Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. We miss you. We
Shout
love
out to all
you.
the
Shout out to
Thank you,
Jersey, all the way to
Jersey.
Mexico.
Yeah.
That's
Hell
our
yeah.
way out.
That's our way out.
Don't forget to like,
Another one,
subscribe.
baby.
Like, subscribe, feedback.